Hey there, Mr. Reddit here. Welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parent Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. Am I the jerk for being angry at my family for lying about my birth parents' race? After that, Entitled Stepdad doesn't know how borrowing works. And after that, am I the jerk for telling my obese friend that they should eat less? Now for every thumbs up this video gets, one Karen gets banned from Costco. No, I'll just go to Sam's Club instead. So please smash that like button. And if you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. Am I the jerk for being angry at my family for lying about my birth parents' race? I'm 23, male. I've known I was adopted all along. For whatever reason, I became obsessed with learning more about my birth parents at age 13. I was told all my life that my parents met both of my birth parents before I was officially adopted. My mom was white from South America, and my dad was white from Italy. They specified these two locations to explain why I had tan skin. As I was growing up, certain things about my physical makeup made me more curious about my birth parents. My hair was kept short as a kid. As a teen, I wanted to experiment. I grew it out, and it grew out curly. Big curls, but still curly. This upset my parents, so they asked that I not grow it out. When I moved away for college, I began to let it grow again. I met my girlfriend in school. She is Black American, so she also helped me care for it. She once braided my hair before I FaceTimed my parents, who lost it on me for wearing it that way. Throughout my time in school, I still searched for my birth mom, but would always come up empty. My girlfriend hinted that there must have been a mistake with the information, even down to the name my parents claimed I had before they adopted me. She gifted me a DNA kit on my birthday that I didn't get around to until the lockdown hit. I didn't think anything would come of it because my parents weren't American, so I didn't know if it would work that way. So I sent it out of boredom and got my results weeks later, which have changed everything. I'm Black and Middle Eastern. I have light skin and my curl pattern is so loose that I hadn't considered it a sign before. I have ancestral ties to Iran, which can explain a more European facial structure. I'm sorry for my wording, I'm still learning. I sent my girlfriend a screenshot and she called me right away. We were both stunned, though she long suspected. I tried to believe that my parents were innocently misinformed, but my girlfriend kept pointing out the inconsistencies. My parents claimed to have met my birth parents, therefore they couldn't have mistaken them for white. I confronted my parents, who became enraged at me for doing a DNA kit. I was very angry, yelling. They robbed me of my identity and hindered my search with their lies. My mom told me through tears that my racial background comes with a stigma, that I passed, so she wanted me to have an easier life fitting in. My dad yelled at me that I had to abandon what I had just learned. I rage broke my phone and left. My siblings have been hitting me up on social media, reprimanding me for being upset because our parents' reasoning is sound. I do pass. I did have an easy life. I'm not asking to be part of a struggle all of a sudden. I just don't think I should have been lied to, and I think their reasoning is BS. I'm just supposed to act like 10 years of me searching with the wrong info isn't that big of a deal? Edit. There's no way I can respond to all of you. Some answers. DNA kits can be wrong, / parents can be white South Africans. My parents admit that my mom was Black. My oldest sister also recalls seeing my mom at some point. Both verify that she was Black. Yes, they could be lying again. I have plans to continue to look into my background. You're the jerk for having a temper / breaking your phone. Okay, that's fair. Someone was shocked that I could break my phone. I threw it. I didn't break it with my bare hands. I walked out and threw it out of anger and it shattered. How do your parents treat your girlfriend? They tried to treat her poorly. They were okay at first, but eventually some comments were made that caused me to put some distance between us. My girlfriend was very hurt by their statements, so I chose to keep us both away from them. Claims that I'm race baiting. I don't understand how. I'm angry about being lied to, and how that lie has made my effort into finding my birth parents completely void, while also rewriting my heritage. You likely didn't pass to other people. That's my girlfriend's stance as well. I'm tan enough that going to an all-white school still got me called names. Whatever issues my parents were trying to shield me from, it didn't work. Maybe this is a lie that I bought into alone. The current state of my relationship with my family? It's chaos. Two of my siblings are trying to be supportive. I deactivated my Facebook and unfollowed some people on Instagram. I can't entertain the argument that I should forgive my parents and move on. I'm not there yet. I get that it makes me ungrateful for feeling this way. For those who asked about my hair, they're big curls. My girlfriend says they are 2C/3A. My hair texture is not unique to any race group, but drastically different from my family's. I appreciate your support. I appreciate those of you who shared your personal experiences with adoption and race with me, for giving me resources, books, and documentary suggestions, for welcoming me into your groups and giving me some kind words. I'm overwhelmed by your support. I've written down a lot of those recommendations. I'm still reading everything you guys have written as well. I appreciate the kind comments about my parents as well. I don't hate them. I'm just really upset and disappointed in their decisions. How would you feel in this situation? Do you think it was right for the parents to keep this information from him? Or was it completely wrong of them to do that? Please let us know. I took a DNA test once. You'd be surprised at some of the horrible people throughout history that I'm actually a direct descendant of. Actually, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Entitled Stepdad doesn't know how borrowing works. Background. When I was 15, my half-sister was born. I was a little older than 16 when my mom had 2 more kids with my stepdad, so this story is several years old. It's paraphrased as well as I can remember it. Cast. We've got me, Bunny. We've got Entitled Stepfather, and we've got my mom. I was around 17 years old when we moved back into the house after some major renovations. I had essentially moved back into a room that I had spent about a year out of. I remember as I was moving back in, my entitled stepfather grabs my arm and drags me into the living room to talk. Entitled Stepfather. Listen, I need to know if you want internet or TV before we move all your crap back in. Me. I had both before. Why can't I have both now? Stepfather. It doesn't matter. Now pick. Do you want TV service or internet service? So, because I was vastly more into internet than TV, I chose to have internet service in my room. He tries telling me some garbage that the wiring going into my room could only work for TV service or internet service, but then he puts up Wi-Fi and tells me to connect to that. I learn a bit later that what he had actually done was remove the TV service cabling that goes into my room by cutting it himself. I don't know why. A couple of months after moving in, I catch Stepfather looking into my room and staring at my TV. Granted, it looks like a big TV because it was on a small table, but it was only maybe 22 inches wide and maybe 12 inches long. I'm probably remembering the wrong size, but it was essentially just a bit bigger than a computer monitor. Now, I'm already greatly annoyed. This is before I started locking my door, so people stopped randomly opening my door. But he still had to open it without saying anything to me, and he was just standing in the doorway, still without saying anything to me. Eventually, I take off my headphones and clear my throat. That seemed to snap him out of whatever trance my TV had him in. My desk is beside the door, while my TV faces the door on the opposite wall. Me. Can I help you? I'm also used to him just throwing all kinds of crap at me for me to do, so I'm getting annoyed at the idea of having a long list of things to do. Stepfather. What are you doing with your TV now? Me. What? You have your consoles in the den with the other TV. You play your games there with your friends. Why do you still have a TV in here? Me. Because it's mine? My mom gave it to me long before we came here. I still have some older consoles plugged into it. Stepfather. You know, your sister could really use it if you're not using it. Now, I have 2 sisters. The older one of the 2 is basically the golden child. To this day, she's still really entitled, but she's like 2 at this point. He wants to give a toddler my TV. Me. What? No. What is a 2-year-old gonna do with my TV? Stepfather, angrily, which in his case means yelling. I was going to put it on a shelf. She couldn't hurt herself with it then. Besides, I'm getting sick of the baby TV shows on the living room TV. My mom and entitled stepfather would constantly play kid TV shows on the big TV in the living room. It had surround sound. You couldn't escape it. It played as soon as the kids woke up to well after they were asleep. Entitled stepfather used to complain all the time about how high the electricity bill was. Gee, I wonder why. Me. But it's my TV. I could lend it to her, but I would like it back. Stepfather, smugly. Fine. I find the remote for my TV, unplug and pack my console stuff. I give the TV a gentle pat to thank it for its services. I know it's either going to be destroyed or I'll never get it back. At least, that's what my gut tells me as I see him still smugly looking at me. I then unplug the TV and offer it and the remote. Stepfather. Oh, by the way, we got your sister an Apple TV, so you may be hearing their shows in the morning. He walks off. It takes me a moment to realize what he had meant. My room shares a wall with my sister's. He was going to use my TV to wake me up in the morning with those annoying kids shows. He was going to make sure the TV was on our shared wall. I forget why, but he leaves the house for a bit. I go and talk to my mom about the conversation. I plead with her to make sure I get my TV back. I plead for her to not let him bully me further and to put my TV against a different wall. Mom: well, Bunny, we were only going to borrow the TV to keep the cost down. Besides, your sisters should get used to their own bedroom. We want them to play with their toys instead of veggieing out with the big TV. Me: Mom, that sounds like reasons why you want to borrow my TV. Please, promise me I'll get it back. I remember tearing up a bit. I don't have a lot that's mine, but the things I do have are expensive to me. Mom: okay, sweetie, I promise that you'll get your TV back, and if he tries anything, I'll do something. She gave me a reassuring pat on the shoulder. I remember that he installed the TV not on my shared wall, which I was thankful for, but I'd often have to turn the TV down. Someone would often put the TV at max volume. Then, several months later, entitled stepfather came home with 2 new TVs. One of them was huge enough to be a living room TV, and the other one was about the size of my old TV. My eyes lit up, thinking Mom somehow convinced him to give me a new TV. Since it is often that the younger siblings get the hand-me-down and the older gets the new thing, this TV should be mine, right? No, of course not. I watch him smugly go to my sister's room with it and set it up with the Apple TV. But that is also when I noticed my old TV is gone. I got angry. Me: wait, where's my TV? Stepfather: I knew it. You're so selfish, OP. This TV is clearly for your sister. That's why I'm setting it up here. Me: no, I don't care about this brand new one. Where's the one I let you borrow? What do you mean, borrow? You told me she could have it. Besides, that crappy TV got thrown out with yesterday's trash. Good luck fishing it out of the dump. I let out a frustrated scream. I had tears pouring down my face. If you think I was too old for this kind of reaction, let me tell you, this kind of thing has happened too many times for me to count. Not the borrowing thing, but where he would say I said one thing when I know I didn't, and then hurt me with it. My mom runs over to see me go to my room and slam the door. I started locking my room from then on. I heard them start to argue and yell at each other, but I put my headphones on and tried to block it all out. 18th birthday and graduation happened. I got a big TV for Christmas/graduation, as well as a Wii U, which was maybe a year old, but the newest console for Nintendo at the time. I remember loving both. I remember my mom knocking politely at my door a week after I got them and asking to come in. I let my mom in. We sat on the bed. She told me she figured he would pull some crap with my TV like he had been doing lately. He's done all kinds of crap all the time, but my mom was working nights and sleeping during the day, so she wasn't aware of most of it. I tell her some of the things that he did on a regular basis. We hugged. She told me that she made an ultimatum with him. If he didn't give me, his oldest daughter, a TV to replace the one he threw away, she would simply take a huge one out of their room, the other one that was bought that day. He threw a toddler temper tantrum when she told him, like yelling and screaming, flailing his arms and throwing things, all because he was told to replace the TV he threw out. Apparently, my toddler sister getting a TV was because it saves on bills and she deserves it. But giving me a TV to replace the one he threw away was a waste of good money. My mom told him something like, you asked her if you could borrow it for her sister. You have to keep your word, just like how she gave her word and never took the TV back. His temper tantrums about this issue started the day he threw it out and replaced it, to close to Christmas when I got my new TV. Anytime my mom brought it up, he'd get angry and throw a fit. Eventually, my mom gave him another ultimatum on top of it. If you don't give her a TV to replace the one you threw out by Christmas, I'm throwing you out. And that's how I got my new TV and learned my stepdad is a toddler-level entitled parent. Speaking of TVs, do any of you guys still watch TV channels? Or do you just use streaming services and things like YouTube? Please let us know. Who needs TV channels when you've got Mr. Reddit? Go ahead and smash that thumbs up. Aw, thanks, Karen. That's really nice of you. Yeah, don't get used to it, buddy. Am I the jerk for telling my obese friend that they should eat less? I'm 17, quite slim, although I don't think I'm underweight, 110 pounds, 5'5", and I have a friend who's 19 who is quite obese. Now, I never made any comments about her body as it can come off as offensive. Plus, I hate it when people comment about mine. However, for the past couple of weeks, she's been making small comments here and there about how lucky it is to be skinny, complaining about not having the ideal body shape, and about how I'm so small it must be easy for me. One time, she also bought a shirt I picked out because I wasn't big enough for it. Well, yesterday, while we were eating lunch with a bunch of friends, her friends, I don't really know them, but I don't mind their company, she told me jokingly that I should eat more so that men can tell that I'm a woman and not a kid. She laughed, and some of her friends did too. However, the others looked a bit uneasy. I felt really embarrassed and angry since I find it hard to gain weight and have taken years to actually like the way that I look. So I told her that she should eat less and stop pushing your insecurities onto me just because you don't like that you're obese. She then yelled about how rude and inconsiderate I was to be body shaming her and that I can buzz off since men prefer curvy women anyways. To which I said, "Not with that attitude they don't," before paying for my dish and walking out. Now I'm getting text messages all over saying I shouldn't body shame other people and spread hate after she posted on her social media crying. I don't think I'm the jerk here, but I could be, so am I? Edit. I checked my weight again after some concerning comments and found out I actually gained weight. Although it's still unhealthy, it's something. I did tell her to cut it out most of the time. The other times I just grew silent and left. I know what obesity is. Just because I'm underweight doesn't mean I see bigger people as obese. What do you think? Was her comeback okay, or was it completely wrong? Please let us know. I love insulting people and making them feel bad about themselves. I'm not a lawn mowing service. This one actually happened last year, but it was short enough that I still remember it pretty clearly. I live in a very small town where everybody can more or less recognize everybody else by sight, if not by name, so I have no idea what this lady's excuse is. I was out mowing my lawn, headphones on and music up loud enough to hear over the engine. Note that a set of double railroad tracks runs right through the middle of the city. It's not unusual for both streets that cross it to be blocked for a few hours by a parked train, as was the case on this day in question. But there's an overpass less than a quarter mile up the road. I realized after a couple of mowing passes that there's been a Mustang stopped at the stop sign by the house for probably a good minute and a half. The driver, too young to be a proper Karen, but definitely training up for it, is looking my general direction. But at first, I think she's just looking at the train and trying to figure out how to get around it. But no, she's looking at me. So I turn the mower off and take off my headphones. I figure she just wants to ask me if there's a way around the train, since we're sandwiched between two state routes, and it's a question I've been asked a few times before. Me. Need something? Her. I was wondering, if you're mowing lawns, would you be willing to do mine once a week for $10? Not what I was expecting, but hey, I've heard worse offers. I use mowing for both exercise and time to hide in my own thoughts for a while. I decided to at least poke at it a bit. Me. I'm mowing my lawn. I live here. But maybe. Depends on the yard and how local you are. Her. Oh, I'm just up the street. At this point, I recognize her car, so I know roughly where she lives. Her lawn is probably 2 acres and made of hills. I don't need that much exercise or me time. Me. Sorry, but no. That's her interrupting and huffing. What? Is $10 not enough? Kids these days, honestly. When I was in high school, I would have been happy to earn an extra $10 a week. I'm not a kid. I'm 6'3", and while I do look young for my age, I was in my mid-40s at the time. Sure, I was wearing one of my old technical college t-shirts, but my mustache and goatee are starting to go gray for crying out loud. Me, after looking at her for a moment. Pardon me, but how old are you? Her, sneering. I don't see what that has to do with anything, but I'm 26. Me, sighs and eye rolls. Kid, I was out of high school before your parents even made you. And with that, I put my headphones back on and started the mower while she was just inarticulately sputtering at me. I'm pretty sure she tried to say something else, but it was lost to engine noise and music. Speaking of mowing the lawn, do you do your own yard work or does someone else? And if you do it, do you enjoy it? Please let us know. My son mows the lawn, but I'm a rather distinguished gardener myself. Would I be the jerk if I drove 400 miles to confront my older brother? I am one of 4 siblings, 2 boys and 2 girls. We're all between 30 to 42 years old, and 3 of us are married except for one middle brother. Middle brother has always had problems in school and socially, and when he got older, it was being able to keep a job and pay his bills. Our mother would always guilt the rest of us into taking care of our middle brother financially once we all moved away. We all agreed to equally contribute so the burden wouldn't fall to our parents who wanted to retire. Our oldest brother always hated this idea and resented middle brother for being able to get away with being lazy his whole life and blames our mother for lowering the expectations for this one sibling and always calling him her sweet, sensitive boy. The rest of us were never able to get away with the same things middle brother did, especially older brother who had to do everything for himself growing up. About a year ago, my sister and I stopped equally contributing to middle brother due to financial difficulties, but didn't tell our oldest brother. He and his wife make significantly more money than us and figured it wouldn't make any difference financially to them and didn't want middle brother to get literally nothing. Anyway, during a family Zoom call, our mother casually brings up that her sweet, sensitive boy needs more help than he's been given from his family, and it came out that older brother is the only one paying and he blew a gasket. He called us opportunists, liars, con artists, and lots of other things, and finally said, "Forget you people," and got off the call and hasn't spoken to any of us since, not even our parents. He's missed 2 payments and middle brother is freaking out. My parents and I tried reaching out to his wife because middle brother will be kicked out of his apartment soon unless we pay. She makes as much money as older brother, if not more, and can easily pay, but refused. She called us crazy for even asking her to go against her husband like that. Now she stopped taking our calls. We're out of options and are considering driving the 3 states away to confront older brother into helping his family. My own husband thinks this is a bad idea and that we should let middle brother sink or swim at this point. Before you ask, middle brother was tested extensively years ago and found he was neurological typical but sensitive, hence my mother's nickname. Would I be the jerk if I drove all the way to physically confront my older brother? Edit 1. Middle brother did have a job before all of this stuff started, but it was part-time and never enough for both rent and essentials. 2. I misspoke by saying confront. I was really going there to plead for older brother's help. 3. It turns out to be a bigger deal than I thought because, unknown to me, older brother had also been partly paying our parents' mortgage and our other sister's student loans and has stopped as of July out of spite. I guess my older brother doesn't care what happens to the rest of us as long as he and his wife are doing okay. I am the jerk for lying, and I accept that, but not for trying to help my middle brother survive when our older brother is fully capable of helping his family, just unwilling. Last edit. I'll be honest, almost 1,000 people telling me how terrible me and my whole family are is both overwhelming and untrue. It's not like we force our older brother, and he fully volunteered to help our parents with their mortgage since they did pay for his college, so I stand by that being 100% spiteful crap. As for my other brother and sister, they can pay their own way. I agree that it's unnecessary. The last thing I'll say, and I know it doesn't matter because everyone's mind is made up, is that if the situation was reversed, I'd be happy to help my family if I had more money than everyone else, but maybe that's just me. Actual final edit. I am the jerk. I get it. My older brother and his wife aren't on Reddit, so hopefully they won't see this. Knowing him, he'd want to defend me because that's the type of brother he is, and I know I wouldn't deserve it. Thanks to everyone for your truthful take, even though it was hard to read. I'll work on composing a heartfelt apology in the hopes he will forgive all of us one day. He really is a good brother. Well, what do you think? Do you think OP was in the right or no? Please let us know. My sister Carol makes quite a bit of money. Perhaps I can ask her to start paying part of my mortgage. That's an idea. Lady, I'm carrying a baby. How do you get that I work here? So I live in Canada, where I get 1 year maternity leave. Yay, Canada. So a few weeks ago, I went to meet my husband at his work where this story takes place. My husband is an assistant manager, which is a key detail to this story. I'm carrying my son in a chest carrier. This was the first time customers are allowed in the store, and I'm walking around looking at product. I'm also talking to some of my husband's staff, one of them being my child's godparent, also my godsister. I see this lady walking around with a bit of an attitude, but I choose to ignore her. After all, she's not my problem, as I don't work here. Clearly, even if I did, the fact that my kid is strapped to my chest means here in Canada, I don't work here for at least 1 year. So lady is acting like she's in a mood and giving complete jerk face to anyone who can see. Exchange goes like this. We've got moody patron, we've got me, we've got my significant other, we've got my godsister, and we've got the store manager. Karen. Excuse me? Where the heck are all your annuals? Me. Well, they usually are around here, but I don't know. Maybe they're sold out? What the heck do you mean sold out? This is a garden center, correct? Me. Yes, but things do sell out. If they aren't here, then I don't know what to tell you. Why are you guys sold out? This is ridiculous. I want to speak to your manager. Me. Well, ma'am, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. They don't seem to have them where they usually are. Godsister comes over as she's done for the day to see me and her godchild. I turn to speak to her as she's more of a priority over Karen. Still in uniform, but carrying all her stuff to go home with. Godsister: Hey, how's the baby? Me: Great, he's sleeping right now, but overall doing really well. How are you? Godsister: I'm good, just tired, it was a long day. Excited to go home and chill. Me: That's good. Do you need a ride? We can drive you home so you can spend some time with the baby. Godsister: Yeah, actually I do. That would be awesome. Karen is starting to get red in the face, and I can tell she wants to say something, but she holds off. My husband comes up to me, Godsister, and our son to see how we're doing. At this point, Karen is red in the face. Significant other: Babe, you finding everything okay? Do you want to go in the garden pharmacy with baby? I started the fan up there for you so you can get nice and cool. Me: Sure, babe, but this lady wants to speak to a manager. I point to the lady. Significant other: Oh, okay, thanks, babe. Turns to Karen and says, How can I help you? Karen: Are you kidding me? You helped her first over me? And she is your spouse? This is nuts. I demand to speak to a manager. Well, ma'am, I'm a manager, and I was just telling my wife that I had a space for her to go with our baby to cool off until I'm done. But how can I help you? I stay close nearby just to see what happens. Karen: Seriously? You have your spouse working here? What type of business is this? Wow, this place is a joke that you hire people like her just to create favoritism. Is this whole place run by you and your family? What the heck is wrong with this place? Me and Godsister are standing off to the side listening, and I'm feisty, so I eventually speak up. Me: Well, ma'am, I never said I worked here, and I was being nice to you by saying usually this is where you would find the stuff first off. Second, you see that I'm carrying my child in a carrier. Considering in Canada, we can take a year to a year and a half off for maternity leave, how do you get the idea that I'm working here? Even if I was working here, I would be on leave. Third, as you can see, everyone is wearing different colored uniforms with the company logo. Do you see me wearing one? No. So how do you get the idea that I work here? Use some common sense. And since I'm married to one of the managers here, clearly to not make my husband look bad, I was being polite and giving you the best answer I could when I could have easily said to you, I don't work here, so why don't you go find someone who does? I don't have to help out anyone, and you coming up to me and being rude, despiteful of what's going on right now, when we should all treat people kindly, shows what type of a person you are. Also, please stop being rude to my husband, or unlike him, I can tell you to go shop elsewhere with your crappy attitude. But I'm going to tell you good luck elsewhere, as they too will most likely be sold out and not give any better customer service as this place does. I turn to my godsister who's dying over there and give her a huge high five. Significant other is gobsmacked, but I can tell is processing. Store manager shows up to say goodnight as well and to see baby for the first time. Karen comes up to us and is not distancing now and recognizes store manager and starts to complain about what I just said. Excuse me? Imagine a long drawn out tone. You're the store manager, correct? I want to file a complaint about this lady right here. Manager: Excuse what? What type of complaint? I'm so confused. What's going on here? Karen explains her version and saying how I've been rude to her from the beginning of her entering the store and she's been ignored by everyone. Manager knows me to be anything but rude, so he listens and then he turns to her and says, Well, ma'am, I can't take a complaint about fellow customers. Also, I've had the privilege to work with this lady and she is amazing. Also, you need to back up and give us space, as we still need to be social distancing and you could be exposing the baby to something. Finally, if she tried to help you the way you said she did, that's pretty nice of her since she didn't have to. Have a good night as the store is now closed. He walks off and Karen is now screaming about how bad this place is run and favoritism is extremely big here and that she's going to social media to complain amongst other things that she finds wrong. I just died of laughter and everyone else who was nearby was shocked. As she was leaving, I just waved by. So worth it. Crazy lady refuses to let fiancé pass at the shop, tries to get him banned from the store. This happened today to my fiancé. So my fiancé popped up to the local supermarket that's just around the corner to buy a bag of cat litter since when we went yesterday they had sold out. Unsurprisingly, they haven't restocked yet, so he heads towards the only open checkout to try to squeeze past and leave. The line is long, so he politely asks if he can just squeeze past, and everyone in line is totally fine stepping to the side since he's not cutting the line and only trying to exit the shop. No problems until he reaches the lady at the front of the line. This crazy lady is blocking the end of the till, so he politely asks if he can step past. Entitled Lady is quite large, and though my fiance is quite thin, Entitled Lady is blocking the whole end of the till, so he can't get past without her moving. Fiance: Excuse me, could I get past, please? I haven't got any items, I'm just trying to leave. Entitled Lady: No, you can't. You cannot cut the line. You will have to go to the back. I don't have anything. They didn't have what I was looking for. I'm just trying to leave. No, go to the back of the line and wait your turn like everyone else. I'm not cutting. I just want to leave. Entitled Lady turns to the cashier. This man is trying to cut the line. Have security escort him out and have him banned from the store. Now. The cashier is a lovely Polish lady and is often on the tills when we shop, so knows our faces and has just heard the conversation between fiance and the other people in the line who allowed him to pass. Cashier, with a very confused look at Entitled Lady, says to fiance, Just go through, it's fine. So fiance kind of shimmies past this elephant-sized woman who is still refusing to move and is now huffing since everyone is ignoring her demands to have fiance removed from the store. Fiance finally gets past, says thank you to the kind cashier, and is about to leave. Entitled Lady, turning to cashier. Get security. He's probably stolen something. Stop him. He's a thief. By this point, the shop's gone silent, and everyone is just staring at this crazy woman yelling at my fiance for trying to steal from the store. By this point, my fiance has had enough and responds with, Listen to me. I came to buy cat litter, and they are sold out. I haven't got anything else. You're obviously in a hurry though. By the looks of things, you're carrying octuplets. You might want to get to the hospital quick. I think you're crowning. Turns around and walks out the store, leaving the stunned woman in total silence and the kind cashier and several other customers trying to disguise their laughter. This is the second time in 2 days he's been accused of stealing by someone in that store. Yesterday, it was the jerk security guard who's rude to everyone, including the staff. No interesting story. He was just told to empty his pockets and then sent on his way. So I'm guessing his manners went out the window. It's been a bit of a stressful week. I'm just relaying it here as it was told to me, as I was asked to. I'm sorry if anyone is offended by his way of handling it. The layout of the store is a one-way system, so you have to exit via a checkout. You cannot go out the same doors you came in through, so this checkout was his only way out. If you like this video, we've got another one you are going to love. It just popped up on the screen, so come watch it and we'll see you when you get there. And join as a channel member today, and we'll give you a special shout out in our next video. And if you'd like us to make a special video for you or a loved one, come visit us on Fiverr, link pinned in the comments below.